Hey, did you miss me? We're back in this room again. The one I set up for this video I made a while ago and never used since. I need to make more use of it, just to make it worth making. A lot of people got confused about how I rigged the mouth in that video, so I figured I would dive into the details to clear things up. I'm very happy and grateful that video did well. And I'll keep my promise to make Klonoa's Lunatia design eventually. I have a rough version right now, just swap the outfit and tweak the mesh a little bit, but not fully polished yet. It's coming though, hit that like button if you want me to speed it up. To keep this entertaining without overcomplicating things, I wanted to rig a mouth from the start and walk you through it step by step. I was set on using Totoro because his mouth is super cartoony. It stretches big and small like crazy. But I stopped myself halfway because I would have to model Totoro from scratch, and that would have delayed the video even more. So instead I went with Patamon. Who doesn't love Patamon, right? He's basically the Pikachu of Digimon. Or was it Agumon? Anyway, the proportions are simple and cartoony. Patamon's mouth gets pretty cartoony too. Airshot is all the proof you need. Just a heads up, I'm not using a full Patamon model here because I didn't want to delay this video even more. To keep it simple, I started with a game model as a base and added my own topology on top. Why, you ask? The game topology is amazing for what it does, but for Blender animations, I have to redo it to get clean deformations. For this video, let's focus mostly on the mouth. We can save the rest of the body for another time, or just simply never talk about it. As I said before, let me explain this step by step so you can actually pick up some useful tips. We need this kind of topology around the mouth for it to deform well. It looks pretty straightforward, right? The rig follows the same structure. Let me create a single bone. Many people might already know this, but let me remind you that this sphere is head and this sphere is tail. Bone will always transform using the head as a pivot. For a B-bone chain mouth rig, there is no strict rule on head and tail placement. Just keep the heads in one area and tails in other. It makes things easier to recognize and control later. Okay, I place my deformation bones around the mouth. Next, we turn them into B-bones. Go to the bone properties, find the B-bone panel and set the number of segments. It doesn't matter too much, but more segments mean better deformation, at a cost of heavier performance. Keep that in mind. I usually go with 6 or 7.
6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7.
Nah, I just go with 8. Wait, why aren't my segments showing? Oh right, you forgot to switch the bone display to B-bones, silly! In the viewport display settings, select the octahedral icon and toggle B-bone. Now they're long bones. If they're too fat, you can thin them out with a hotkey and mouse drag. If only trimming fat in real life was that easy, huh? If you forgot how to do it, quick repeat. In bone settings, set B-bone segments to whatever number you want. I'm using 8. Got it locked in? Good. Now you've probably got a few questions. Let me knock them out quick. First question might be, alright, what's next? I'll get there, just a little patience. Second question might be, why only bones on the left side? Characters left or right? We only need to rig one side so it's easier to symmetrize them afterwards. It saves your 50% work and time. Third question might be, if my mouth has more edge loops, do I need bone for each? Yes, you need to make 30 B-bones so it's consistent with the model's mouth loop. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm trying to have fun while doing boring stuff. The method I'm doing is for models that use subdivisions. For example, I can just add the modifier subdivision surface after the armature modifier, so my mesh will be smooth and I can work with the low poly characters. But let's say even without subdivision, your model's mouth has 30 loops each side. How do we deal with that? I'll show you the power of the B-bone chain method. After I get over this simpler method first. Deal? Deal, you have no other choice. This is my video. Did I answer all of your questions? I think yes. Let's move on to question 1 then. After placing the bones, I rename them right away. These are the core deformation bones, the ones that actually shape the mesh. So I prefix them with def. Add a .l or .r suffix based on the side. Bones with those can be symmetrized easily later. Trust me, when you have thousands of bones, good naming saves your brain cells. B-bones stand for bendy bones. They bend and flex like a spring, controlled by 2 points, start and end. You can stretch, squash or twist them. But twisting past 360 degrees flips it. Don't be too harsh twisting it. The best part? Your geometry follows along perfectly. Let's create a bone and name it something like Bob and turn it into a B-bone. Hope you remember how. Now for the fun. We need 2 controller bones for Bob. Duplicate the def bone, which is our Bob, with Shift D and scale it down small. This bone that is on the head of Bob is BBS, for bendy bone start. Duplicate again, which will be our BBE, which stands for bendy bone end. Now we need to place it on Bob's tail. Don't eyeball the placement, it's a time sink and rarely perfect. Here's my trick. Select the tail point, Shift plus S, to snap the 3D cursor there. Then select the duplicated bone, Shift plus S again, and choose Selection to Cursor. Boom! Precise. Now we have a base for setting up our single B-bone setup. Aw, look at them. Bob is not alone anymore. We have controllers on each point, but they are not connected to your deformation bone currently. That's why your deformation bone has no reaction. In other words, Bob is really stupid and shy, but we can help Bob by connecting them. What we need to do is to introduce newly created handles to Bob. To do that, select deformation bone, go to the deformation bone's B-bone settings, and you will see start handle and end handle options. Choose your start handle, which is BBS. Oh, and keep in mind that the start handle is always placed on the deformation bone's head. There are many options like automatic, etc. I don't really know what they do, but tangent one gives me what I want, so I just select it. Same for the end handle. Now when we rotate our BBS and BBE bones, Bob reacts to them. Bob must be really happy that he is not alone anymore. After spending some time rotating them and getting bored from it, you will want to try something new, like moving it. But remember that Bob is stupid, and Bob is like, "What are you guys doing? I don't understand you two." Now we need to teach Bob how to react if handles move. Let's start with the top one, which is BBE handle. When you move it, Bob stays in place. What we need to give Bob is the stretch to constraint. You can either select from bone constraint properties and set it up manually, or you can just press Ctrl-Shift-C combination for the fast constraint. First, select which bone will drive this constraint. Then, select the bone you want to apply that constraint. Same result, but faster. Stretch to constraint makes Bob react to BBE handle, but what about BBS? We can't give it stretch to constraint, so we just parent Bob to BBS. To do that, select Bob, then BBS, then Ctrl-P, and then select Keep Offset. Now we can move it, rotate it, but scale isn't working well with BBE, only works with BBS. The reason is, it's parented to BBS. Hey, would you look at them? 3 of them are together and lives happily ever after in the Blender space. I personally call this family. Just kidding, it's just a simple chain of B-bone. There's no Bob, don't get emotionally attached to bones for your own sake. We don't need scaling in our mouth setup, but if you want to make it yourself, you can experiment with the scale options in bendy bone settings. For now, we'll focus on the mouth settings that we will use. Let's get back to Patamon's mouth deformed bones now that we've got the single B-bone basics down. First, fix the bone axis. Use Ctrl+R to rotate so the Z-axis points outward, 90 degrees to the mesh surface. Do this for all. Then add BBS and BBE to each deformation bone. I color grade groups for quick spotting. Black for BBS, white for BBE. Easy to tell them apart. Next up is controllers. I make 4 main ones: top lip, bottom lip, side lip.l, and side lip.r. With these handles, you can make basic emotions. Between them, I add secondary controls based on the edge loop count for extra expressive anime-style faces. For even smoother results, we add tweak bones, which are duplicated BBS or BBE, depending on your setup. They give precise control over every loop. Let's do a quick hierarchy rundown. We got first layer, which is red group. Those are the main controls, like mouth corner leaders. Second layer is yellow, which are medium controls. They follow the mains, but drive the tweaks. And our final third layer is blue. Tweak bones for fine individual loop adjustments. I build from the bottom up. Duplicate the BBE in my case. Turn on individual origins to shape them freely. Rename in batch. To do that, you need to press Ctrl plus F2. Swap BBE for TWK, so we know they are tweaks. If there are numbers after .L or .R, trim those too. Parent each BBE to its matching tweak bone. That way, tweak drives the deformation bone. Next is... Wait, I think I forgot to apply stretch to constraints. Next is middle and main controls. Here's my mains, and here's the secondaries. Switching gears. Now we work top down. Add an armature constraint to the secondary controller, targeting the side and top lip mains. Whoa, it deforms like it's weight painted. And I can control the in-between too? Yeah, I had the same brain explode moment when I discovered this. Do the same for bottom secondary controller. Now let's connect them in between with tweak bones. Add armature constraint on each TWK bone with influence sliders to blend nicely. Check this out, isn't this cool? Mouths need a jaw, obviously. I use a simple bone for it. Add an armature constraint to the control lip bottom, targeting the jaw. If there is a head bone, I usually link jaw and head to the control lip sides armature constraint at 50% influence each. That keeps things balanced. Key reminder, armature constraints act like parenting. If a bone's already parented and constrained, you'll get double transforms. Avoid that mess. We are almost done. One more thing to do, the mouth master control. It moves the whole mouth as one. Why bother, you might ask? Your setup works fine without it. But for example, let's say characters like Sonic, where the mouth's always camera facing, dragging individual controls suck. So that means master control is instant safe. Create a basic bone and let's call it Mouth Master. We can't add it to the armature constraint list. It would mess influences like the jaw. The solution is copy transforms constraint. Add a copy transform constraint on the control lip top. Set target to local space, owner to custom. Keeps it in place, but copies motion perfectly. Feels like parenting bones without the hassle. All controls follow. Amazing, right? Alright, symmetrize the bones, weight paint the loops to the def bones, and boom. A working mouth rig ready for silly expressions. With this much info, I hope you now understand how I set up most of my mouth rigs. Wow, would you look at the time? This video is already long enough, so I need to wrap it up. Leave a comment if you want to see more, take care, and...
Hey, wait! You said you'd show us mouth with many loops.
Ah, jeez. Okay, let me get to it quick and explain you that B-bone mouth setting as well. But first of all, who's that standing behind of you, huh?
What? Oh, damn it, he escaped! Get him!